Hi everyone, this is Crafty Decoria and I hope you're all doing great. Today I will be sharing two farmhouse DIYs that I hope you will absolutely love. We'll get into what you will need for these DIYs and then we'll jump into the tutorials. I hope you enjoy. To start off, you will need 3 books from Dollar Tree and you'll want to get them in a large, medium, and small size. 2 Dollar Tree glass candle holders, 1 Dollar Tree wooden rectangular box, a Dollar Tree monthly calendar decor piece, black and white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree, Dollar Tree's Decoupage Glue Sealer by Crafty, Dollar Tree shoe polish in a brown finish, a Dollar Tree Sharpie marker, Dollar Tree painter's tape, I will also be using E6000 glue as well as my hot glue gun. And that's it. Let's jump into the tutorial. I hope you enjoy. So I start by taking off the covers of the books. Now the largest size book that I have does not have a removable cover. So with that, I will just make sure that I give a little bit extra paint to cover up the cover. So next I take my Decoupage Glue Sealer by Crafty from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be gluing all of the sides of the book. And I'm doing this because I want them to be completely solid. I don't want them to open. So I did do this a couple times. I gave it a couple coats and it glued them together really nicely. I was very happy with the results. So you can see I have my books piled one on top of the other with a weight at the very top, so it will keep the books nice and tight so they will glue nicely together. And then I take my Dollar Tree wooden rectangular box as well as the shoe polish, and I'm going to give the outside of the box a couple of coats with the shoe polish. Now I didn't do the inside because this will be turned upside down and you won't see the inside. But I really like how it turned out. Next, I have my glass candle holders. Now you could definitely use them just like this, or you can paint them. But what I decided to do, since I took a previous DIY apart, I ended up having a couple of candlestick holders that I glued jute twine all the way around. And I wanted to use those for this particular DIY because I thought it would look really neat. And this way I'd use up the product as well. So I just took hot glue and took the Dollar Tree jute twine and wrapped it all the way around. Then at the very top I made a jute twine braid, which is just taking 3 equal lengths of jute twine, making a knot at one end, braiding it and then making a knot at the other end, and then I glued it at the very top to give it a more finished look. So I will be using these two for the DIY, but again, you could use the glass just as it is or paint it. It's up to you. So now back to my books. They have completely dried, and I'm taking my white acrylic Dollar Tree paint, and I'm going to be giving these at least a couple coats of paint. But as I said, the larger book, I probably will give it an extra coat or two just because it didn't have a cover and I don't want any of the colors to come through from the cover of the book. So now that my books are completely dried, I went ahead and I drew a band on each book because I didn't want to leave the books completely white. So I measured 1 inch from the top of the cover down, and then I made a 3-inch band on the large book, a 2-inch band on the medium book, and then a 1-inch band on the smallest book. And then on each side of those bands, I went ahead and drew a line. So at the top and the bottom of the band. And I just think it gave it more of a farmhouse look. I really love the black and white together and was really pleased with how they turned out. Then I went ahead and used painter's tape to mark everything off so that I would have a nice crisp line once I applied my paint. Then I took my black acrylic paint from Dollar Tree and brushed it on in between those lines. And with this, I only brushed it on the front and side of the books. I did not do underneath. So here I was ready to remove the painter's tape, but the paint was a little bit too fresh and it removed some of the white. But then I went ahead with some more white acrylic paint and covered those spots up. Here I printed off some words from Google. It was an image already made with the Ray Dunn letters. I want my books to read, "He is risen." So I printed that off. Now I'm just going to pencil the back so then I can transfer my words onto my books. Here I'm just placing it on top of each book and tracing them out. And then taking my Sharpie, I'm just going to go over the pencil. Now taking my decoupage glue sealer, I am going to coat all 3 of the books. And I only coated the top and the sides again. As the bottom, I'm not going to be placing anything on them, so I was more worried about the tops being chipped with the paint. Now usually I use the Dollar Tree Mod Podge, but I wanted to try this to see how it felt, because sometimes I find that the Mod Podge is a little bit sticky, and so I went ahead and tried this, and still it was a little bit, I guess the word is tacky, but I didn't find it to be as much as the Mod Podge. And also my glue sealer was a little bit thick, so if I had watered it down a little bit, it probably would have applied a little bit more smooth. But I did end up opening up another bottle, and that one went on much more nicely. But I was really happy with the glue sealer. So once all 3 books were coated and dried, I was ready to glue on my wooden crate. So I just applied some E6000 glue to the bottom of the crate and then turned it over on the bottom of the larger book and glued it in place. And I did also add a little bit of hot glue, as you can see. So have you guys figured out that I am making another 3-tiered tray, this time using the books? I really wanted to do a DIY with the books. I love seeing all the ones out there on YouTube where they stack the books one on top of the other and then tie them with a beautiful bow or with jute twine. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and perhaps this DIY is already out there in YouTube world. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen one myself. So I thought I would try doing something a little bit different, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I will say that this is by far my favorite 3-tiered stands that I have made so far here on YouTube. So now I'm adding my E6000 glue to the bottom and top of the candle holders, and I've placed one on top of the large book, and now I will place the medium-sized book on top of that candle holder, and then I will repeat the same steps with my second candle holder and then my smallest book to sit at the very top. Now at the tippy top, I will add my monthly calendar to the center of the smallest book, and I will glue that down with my E6000 glue. And I just love how this all came together. The black and white buffalo check with the black and white books. I can't tell you enough how much I love this three-tiered stand or tray. How do you say it? Three-tiered tray or three-tier stand? Let me know in the comment section below. So here is a picture with the three-tiered stand empty. And then here is a picture with some items placed on top. I have this on my desk and I think it's the perfect little piece to add a plant, a little lantern, my pad and pen, my wallet, and also that little birdie down at the bottom. I think it's also great for a desk because I have the calendar at the very top so that I can keep on track to what month and day it is. Just a really cute farmhouse decor piece, all made with items from Dollar Tree. And now moving on to DIY number 2. So for the next DIY, I'm going to be making a farmhouse napkin holder. So the items that you will need is one Dollar Tree chalkboard on the stand, a bamboo cutting board. I don't know why I have 2 here. I must have been thinking of another DIY, but you only need 1. Some Dollar Tree shoe polish in brown, and an ornament ball marker, and mine is in white. Now because the chalkboards on the stands are wooden, which I love, I decided to take this shoe polish and use it as a stain. Now I did take off the sponge applicator, but I simply turn the bottle around and just pounce the bottle and the shoe polish comes out, and it makes it so much easier to paint this on, especially getting in those creases and joints. It's just a whole lot easier. So I'm really glad that I could apply it in this way. So here I decided to paint behind the chalkboard with the stain as well. Now it wasn't wood, but it still gave the effect of wood, so I really like how it turned out. Going into Google, I printed off an image that I wanted to transfer onto my chalkboards, and it says 1 cross plus 3 nails equals forgiven. I just love that. On the back side of the image, I take my pencil and I scribble all over the back so that I can transfer my letters and numbers onto my chalkboard. After taping my paper down to my chalkboard, I begin tracing out the numbers and letters. After tracing the image onto both the chalkboards, I'm ready to fill in my numbers and letters with my ornament ball marker. Now, I had to do this off of the camera because it was really hard to see the lines and my hand is not so steady. So I did fill in everything and I love how it turned out. And here they are complete. Now you can definitely just freehand this, but I really wanted them to look the same on both the chalkboards, and I think this was such an easy way to achieve a really nice high-end look. So now it's time to glue the chalkboards to the bamboo cutting board. And you can definitely use this as a napkin holder or even a file folder holder. Say that fast 10 times. So here I'm just showing you a couple ways that you can glue these on. You can place one in front of the other in the center of the bamboo cutting board, and that looks really nice. It'd even be nice to hold your mail. I'm sure there's many other neat things that you could think to use this for. But I'm going to be gluing down my chalkboards in this way so that I can fit my napkins in there, but I also have room in front of one of the chalkboards to place my salt and pepper shaker. To glue this down, I'm simply using my hot glue, since I find that when I glue wooden things together, the hot glue works great. And here is my napkin holder with my salt and pepper shaker and napkins placed on the DIY that I just made. And I love it. I think that the shoe polish works perfectly to stain the wood on these chalkboards, as it goes perfectly with the bamboo. I love the 1 cross plus 3 nails equals 4 given. It was such an easy and fun DIY to create, and it is something that I know that I will use on my table for many years to come. Well guys, that will do it for these 2 farmhouse DIYs. I really hope that you enjoyed them. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Share the video if you can. It greatly helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love and appreciate it if you did. As always guys, you take care of yourselves, and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye for now.